my website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey! There's a hidden force within the human psychology that might actually hold you back. And in order to figure out whether it does that or not, because nobody knows, right? If you have this thing inside of you, you won't know you have it. That's what it, that's what feeds it. And so, in order to figure out whether you have that or not, you need to ask yourself one question. What would happen if you doubled your skill level in 4 weeks? I'm not saying it's possible, depending on where you are, of course, in your development, but let's just make the experiment that something magical would happen, and suddenly after 4 weeks, you'll be twice as good, twice as knowledgeable. You'll be able to come up with really cool chord progressions. You'll be able to have all the insights, the theoretical insights about the 9th and the 11th and the 13th of chords, and you'll be able to compose really cool stuff. You'll be able to play like top level shredding, fast run, soloing at the highest level. What would happen? Most people will go, oh, that would be awesome. But are you sure? What if you showed up, if you play in a band, what if you showed up in the band and you suddenly had all these skills? What would happen? Would the other players of the band feel less than you? Would they go, hey, and would you feel an urge to play with people at your level at some point? Right? And that's the trap. Because if there's one force in the human psychology that's really strong, it's the need to stay in the group. Because we're a pack animal, and on the base level, the lowest parts of the brain really wants survival more than anything else. And what's survival? You don't have any claws, you don't have fur, you can't run very fast, a small dog can outrun you, right? But the most powerful thing about human beings is our ability to organize hundreds and thousands and millions of people in around one mission, one target. So we're a huge organism that can do amazing things because we are many, because we are a pack. So if you threaten that, even if it doesn't make sense, your band doesn't take care of your survival unless you're Aerosmith or something like that, right? So you need to stay in it. That's the main function on that level of the brain. So you might say, oh, that would be awesome, but really something is holding you back. Right? We don't want to go there. We don't want to become that great. And also, you can look at, that's just your skill level, but look at your behavior. What if you suddenly started practicing like crazy? Like, let's just say, oh, I don't have time, Claus. I don't have 2 short fingers, don't have the energy, I can blah, 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 whatever it is. But let's just say none of that were the case, and you could practice like a maniac. And you showed up for practice, or you played for your friends, or you visited with that friend who also plays guitar, and you would just be developing that bam, bam, bam. You would, every time you see him or see the band, you would be having new stuff, be so inspired. How would they feel about you? And most often they try to pull you back and say, hey, take it easy. Oh, you're obsessed with practicing, right? Or you'd start, saying stuff like, no, I kind of really figured that I really like 9s with the added 13th of the chord and stuff like that. Or I really like, in a chord progression, if you can throw in an extra dominant to the subdominant chord, you start saying stuff like that, out of innocence because you're so into it. How do you think people react if you don't know what you're talking about, right? Because you're developing that rapidly, people start saying, hey, you're leaving the group now. What is the group? The group is similarities. Because we have the same skill level. We want to play the same music. We talk the same language. And suddenly you come and say stuff we don't understand. You come with skills we don't grasp. And the bass player can't follow you. And the drums can't do that rhythm. What do you think happened? You get out of the group. And that's one of the main priorities of the lowest part of the brain. And this lower part of the brain has the power to veto all other, higher levels of the brain. So you might say, I want to become better. I want that magical feeling of being but whatever it is. But then the lower parts of the brain say, because it's going to send you out of the group. But it doesn't say that clearly. What it does instead is come up with stupid excuses of how you can't get any better. In other words, you keep yourself at the same skill level, right? You say yes to extra work at work. right? You make sure that, I've got so much to do around the house, and, you never get those thoughts that would absolutely enable you to have more practice time. Oh, and I gotta relax, I gotta watch TV, I gotta just take all of these. That's what it does. It doesn't talk with words. It sends hormones up into the higher parts of the brain, the frontal lobes, the analytical features you have. And so that analysis of whether or not you could actually do it becomes flavored by that level. This works, it's like treason, right? It's working against you. So what you need to do is ask yourself that question: what would happen if I doubled my skill level? If you feel any fear around that and can see, yeah, that would absolutely send me out of the band. I would have to play with other people and say, that would be uncomfortable. So let's stay here. Let's stay with all my excuses and all my limitations and all perceived limitations, right? And so what could you do to break out of that if you actually identify that do it anyway, first of all, right? Do it anyway, acknowledging and realizing that then you need to play with other people. It's just how it is. You need to take some pain in order to get to where you want to go, right? And then you take the pain and you stop the excuses. Another thing is just to play with people who are better than you, right? Just to, apply for other bands or, seek other people, and then, take the pain of being less than. Take the pain of meeting with a guy or becoming friends with people who are actually much better players than you, and take that pain, right? Because that pain is going to drive you to become better. That pain, because the lower part of the brain doesn't like pain. Right? So it's going to, okay, we can, and suddenly the pack animal instinct drives you because you want to become a valued part of that group with people who are better than you. So you start shifting from these guys to these guys over here. You can still be friends with these, drink beer, whatever you do, right? I'm not encouraging you to drink alcohol, but do whatever you want. But maybe you want to get some new acquaintances that actually inspire you to become better, that makes you look bad, right? So you feel that pain. Now you have two kinds of pain. You have the pain of leaving that group, but then it's leveled out by the pain of not being as good as your friend over here. So you need to play yourself like that in order for you to progress. Because most often, we think it's the mechanics of playing. We think it's the new strategy. It sometimes is, for practicing, but really something else is holding you back. Have you ever talked to a friend and why isn't he doing the stuff I tell him to do? He so wants these skills, but he's not acting on it. We talk about it, I show him stuff, and, he never does any of it. Why? And this might be one of the reasons that people hold themselves in a position of not developing. We're getting really deep here. I hope this makes sense to you, so give it some thought. Watch this video again in a week and schedule it. Make sure you don't forget while practicing, of course, and then have new thoughts about, is that actually the case with me? Should I, seek out new friends in music stores and, yeah, he's much better than me. Let me, take him out for a cup of coffee or, just start talking to him and, start discussing things. What should I do to break out of that zone if I'm in it, right? And most people are to some degree. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.